Welcome to this special session on India's new labor codes and the so-called salary cut debate. I'm Advocate Aditi from the Institute of Legal and Management Studies. Let's begin this session. In recent months, you may have heard employees saying that the new labor reforms are cutting their take-home pay. But is that really what's happening? Today, we will break down exactly what these new rules mean for your monthly salary, your provident fund, and your long-term financial security. Let's dive in. India has overhauled its labor laws by consolidating 29 old statutes into 4 comprehensive labor codes. The most impactful change is the redefinition of wages. Under the new rule, basic pay plus dearness allowance must form at least 50% of your total cost to company, or CTC. In the past, many employers kept basic pay very low, sometimes just 25 to 30% of CTC, and paid the rest as various allowances. This kept their contributions to Provident Fund and gratuity artificially low. The new codes close this loophole. The result, your wage base goes up, statutory deductions increase, and your monthly take-home may dip, even if your CTC stays the same. So why are employees upset? The simple answer is, even though your total CTC hasn't changed, your monthly enhanced salary is likely to shrink. Here's why. If your CTC is 10 lakhs, under the old structure your basic pay might have been just 3 lakhs, 30% of CTC. The remaining 7 lakhs came as various allowances like HRA, special allowances, and so on. Under the new 50% rule, basic pay must now be at least 5 lakhs. That means allowances drop to 5 lakhs. Because PF is 12% of basic, your annual PF contribution jumps from 36,000 to 60,000, and that extra 24,000 comes straight out of your take-home. This is the salary cut, not a real CTC reduction, but a restructuring that reduces monthly cash in hand. Let's look at each salary component and what changes. Basic pay becomes the cornerstone. It must now be at least half your CTC. Dearness allowance is explicitly included in the wage definition, so it too counts toward your 50% threshold. The big impact areas are Provident Fund and gratuity, both calculated on this new, larger wage base, meaning more is deducted monthly but more accumulates for your retirement. And allowances, like HRA, conveyance, and special allowances, are capped. They can no longer form more than 50% of your total compensation. The flexible, high allowance salary structure that many IT and startup employees were used to is being restructured. This is really the heart of the debate, a clear trade-off between today and tomorrow. In the short term, many employees, especially those in IT, startups, and service sectors with high allowance structures, will see their monthly take-home drop. They'll have more money deducted for PF, and their HRA and special allowances will shrink. This requires real budget adjustments. But look at the long-term picture. A larger wage base means a bigger PF corpus by the time you retire. Your gratuity payout increases. Contract and gig workers who were previously left out may now qualify for PF and gratuity. The compensation structure becomes fairer and more transparent. Employers can no longer game the system. So is it a salary cut? In the short run, for many, yes. But in the long run, it's a forced-saving mechanism that builds financial security. The impact of these changes varies significantly by sector. IT companies and startups, which typically structured salaries with high allowances and low basic pay, will see the most disruption. Employees there are likely to feel a real drop in take-home pay. Traditional manufacturing companies, which already maintained higher basic pay ratios, will have an easier transition. Contract and gig workers are in a mixed position. They may lose some income flexibility but gain access to PF and gratuity for the first time. Entry-level professionals receiving variable-heavy offers need to be especially careful. They should negotiate a higher total CTC to protect their take-home when the allowance share shrinks. For HR professionals, understanding these sector-specific impacts is critical when designing compensation structures and communicating changes to employees. For HR professionals and employers, these changes create 3 major areas of work. First, payroll restructuring. You need to audit every salary in your organization against the 50% wage rule, recalculate statutory contributions, and update your payroll system. If you want employees to maintain similar take-home pay, you may need to revise their CTC upward, which means higher costs for the organization. Second, employee communication. The salary cut perception can seriously impact morale and retention if not addressed. HR teams must proactively explain the change. CTC hasn't dropped, but the composition has changed. Highlight the retirement benefits employees are gaining. Third, retention strategy, especially for high performers in allowance-heavy sectors. Companies may need to offer higher gross CTC, add performance bonuses, or restructure variable pay to stay competitive and retain talent. If you're an employee facing these changes, here are 6 smart strategies. 1. Negotiate a higher gross CTC when receiving revised offers. Don't simply accept a restructure that cuts your take-home. 2. Optimize allowances that fall outside the wage definition. HRA, LTA, conveyance, and meal vouchers remain useful tools for preserving take-home and tax efficiency. 3. Embrace the long-term upside. Higher PF and gratuity are real financial gains, especially for younger professionals early in their careers. 4. Ask your employer for performance bonuses or variable pay that complement your base salary. 5. Carefully review your revised salary slip to ensure PF is being correctly credited and all statutory benefits are in order. 6. Recalibrate your monthly budget. The take-home drop is real, and planning ahead prevents financial stress. From the government's perspective, these reforms are not a salary cut, they are a structural correction. The objective is to close loopholes that allowed employers to underpay statutory benefits by inflating allowances. By standardizing the wage definition across all 4 labor codes, the government aims to bring consistency, fairness, and better social security for India's workforce, including contract and gig workers who were often left out of PF and gratuity eligibility. Looking ahead, there will likely be further clarifications. The government may issue sector-specific guidelines on allowance exemptions, provide clarity on how variable pay and bonuses are treated, and potentially adjust contribution rates or CTC thresholds to find the right balance. As real implementation data comes in over the next few years, these codes will be refined. HR professionals should stay updated through official notifications. Let's wrap up. India's new labor codes are not really a salary cut, they are a structural correction to how wages are defined and how statutory benefits are calculated. Yes, your monthly take-home may dip, but your long-term retirement savings through PF and gratuity will improve. The key for employees is to understand this distinction, negotiate smarter at the offer stage, and plan finances accordingly. For HR teams, the priority is clear: audit your payroll for compliance, communicate transparently with your workforce, and build retention strategies that account for the changing compensation landscape. To learn more about labor law compliance, HR management, and the POSH Act, explore our certificate courses at ILMS Academy. Email us at admin@ilms.academy or visit www.ilms.academy. Thank you for watching.